to another Sunday of our morning lectures from Toronto Spiritist Society. We're going to have Joyce today speaking about motherhood. And I'm going to start with a reading from the book Happy Life. Then I'll do an initial prayer and I'll pass it on to Joyce for her to start her speech. Even if you do not know it, you are somebody role model. There is always someone watching what you do, tuning into it, even if it's wrong. For that reason, you are responsible not only for what you do, but also for how your ideas and attitudes inspire others. Dictators and tyrants by themselves could not do much were it not for those who think like them and support them. Likewise, the work of the good would fail were it not for those who are selflessly and lovingly connected with it. Be aware of your words and deeds, stimulating followers who will grow spiritually and act correctly. Dear Lord, our Creator, Jesus, our Master and our friend, our mentors, the mentors of this house who direct these studies and lectures. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for this moment of light in our week. A moment where we refresh and help us to absorb the words that are needed for our spiritual enlightenment. Thank you, and so be it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rafael. And thank you, everyone, for joining us at this moment. It's always a pleasure to be here. And even still virtually, it's a very special moment for us every time that we come here and have a chance to connect to each of you through this stream and by Facebook, YouTube, and so on. So it's a moment that we can learn a little bit and share a little bit of the things that we learn and that we have a chance to study. So thank you so much. So today is a very special topic. I'm going to talk about motherhood. And this was chosen on purpose because of the Mother's Day today. So when we think about motherhood, I think this is something special for everyone, not only for me, for being a mom. I'm a mother of 3 little ones. But I think this is special for everyone, for those women that are not mothers, for all men, and for everyone. Because if we are here today, it's because we were lucky enough to have someone that accepted the idea of being this instrument of loving and caring, that accepted the idea to share her body, to allow us, allow our physical body to be developed, and in some way was the bridge and the instrument to allow our spirit to be incarnated during this present life. So just by being here alive at this moment in this physical body that we have, it's a big opportunity for us to be thankful for the mom that we all have, even if by any circumstance you do not have a good relationship to your mom for reasons that, I mean, it's not the topic today, but we know that sometimes this happens. Even if you think you don't have the most perfect mom or the mom you wished, which is also possible for some people, you still need to be thankful for her, because if it was not her, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have the chance and the opportunity to be in this life. And we all know, especially as spiritists, we all know how important is each incarnation. We all know that by being incarnated is the best opportunity for us to learn, for us to evolve, and for us to continue our pathway of evolution. So I used to say that Mother's Day is a very special day for me because it's a day that I fill my heart with so much gratitude. Of course, we need to be grateful every day, but especially during the Mother's Day, it reminds us about how important it is for us to be grateful for all moms that allow us to be here. And even those moms that for some pathological reason they gave up on their kids, they still offered some love and caring during those 9 months, at least during those 9 months or those several months uh, until that kid is born, right? So that's why this is so special. And talking about motherhood, there is so many things that we can explore. It's such a beautiful mission. And I'm going to try to go in some aspects of motherhood with you today. And I'm also going to share a little bit of that topic from the Spirit's book and from the Gospel according to Spiritism. Some of those topics is not only related to motherhood per se, but also to fatherhood. There's many times that mission is shared by both, of course, but in some way it all applies to mom as well. So we're gonna see what the gospel tells us about that in a few moments, okay? And when I think about motherhood, in my mind, it's like a commitment for the eternity. I don't see motherhood just as this present opportunity to be mom at this moment, at this life. Once I accept the idea of generating a new body, we know that the spirit, it's eternal. It was created by God. The moms are just that instrument that allows to generate that physical body that's going to be the home of that spirit during that specific incarnation. So when the mom accepts that, she signed a contract and a commitment. She's going to be connected with that spirit forever. Probably, and most of the time, that connection already exists from previous experience, and that's why they come now as mom and daughter, or son, mom and son. But if that is the first connection, we know that is going to be a connection that's going to last forever through the eternity, because the link during the gestation time, during the pregnancy, is so strong, and it is evenly physical, right? It's a visceral. We used to say in medicine that it's a visceral connection. We have, the mom carries a body that is totally attached to her own, and that connection is physical. And the spiritism in many books explain to us the spiritual connection as well. But even for those who does not fully understand about spiritism, or don't have the full idea and understanding about it, they agree with me that there is a very strong physical connection too. So that connection is established during the pregnancy, and that there is no end. So even after this life, that mom and that child will be connected for future, and probably they will come together in different roles for many times to teach each other. And it's not only the mom that teach the little one, but it's a two-way, as any relationship in life. It's a two-way learning process, right? Mom teach the kid, and the kid teach a lot to that mom too. Many people used to say that phrase, right? That once a child is born, a mom is born too. And that's exactly what happened. And many women, especially when they are pregnant for the first time, they come with lots of anxiety and fears, like, am I be able to do this? Am I be able to be a mom? And I can tell you, it's it's within us, within our spirit. We, like, once we have that child in your hand or in you, all the feelings will start to generate, and the care will come automatically. We learn as the process go. uh, and many people sometimes ask, oh, how do I do this, how I mean, and we see that there are so many books around about motherhood, about parenthood, and so on. And I tell you, it's good to read, it's good to study as much as you can. I think it's always helpful, but at the end, it's the connection that you have with your child that, as spiritists, come from many previous experience, that will give you the gut feeling of what to do and how to proceed. I tell moms that are very anxious and come to me because they don't know what to do in certain circumstances with their kids. That's what I tell them. Believe on you, trust on your feelings in your heart. You are the best person to know what is the best for your kid. And that is exactly because of that strong connection that I'm explaining to you. It's something that we cannot fully understand, maybe, but it's so strong that definitely give the mom the idea to how to proceed. And I also tell many friends of mine that sometimes it's not sure if they want to have kids or not, because for sure it's a big commitment, and it's not meant to everyone, and we need to respect that too. Also, we know that many want, but for many reasons cannot conceive. And again, the Spiritism also explained that there are many reasons for that. Nothing happens by chance, right? So, uh, if you are in this life and struggle to conceive and suffer at this moment, try to see the things in different ways, and understand that there's a purpose behind. You need to see each situation with resignation and understanding and faith, because motherhood might come to you in different ways. And that's another thing that I think it's very important to understand today as well, since we are talking about motherhood, is that motherhood is not only being pregnant, generate a child, your own child, your biological child, and take care of that child. Motherhood is so uh, more than that, that you can be mom of your son, your biological son, but you can be mom for any other child or any other person, even a teenager that is close to you and that needs your support. So motherhood goes a lot beyond than just your biological child. So for those that by any chance cannot conceive and wish to be mom, there are all these opportunity, even adoption, or even in your family, sometime a niece, like a nephew, or a close friend, right? You can be the figure of mother for those who needs. Then there are many in needs. Um so I tell everyone that what is important is the care and love that you share. And the motherhood for me is the great opportunity to get closer to that feeling of what does it mean, the poor love, the love that Jesus teach us through taught us through his incarnation here on earth, his main example of loving each other as you love yourself. And since we are not there yet, of course, we are so far from the level of evolution of Jesus, but we are on the pathway. And we need to take the advantage of all the opportunities that life gives us to try to develop that true feeling, the feeling of true love inside of our heart. Because at the end, that's what he wants from us, and he wants that for everyone, not for your own kids. But I tell people, by being mom, I feel that the motherhood give me the chance at least to understand a little bit about what that true and pure love means, because I can tell by my own experience that I'm still very far from that. But if by all means at some point I'm able to share with everyone around me the same love that I share to my kids, I think that's the goal I want to pursue. And that's what Jesus wants from all of us, right? So the motherhood give to me that chance to train that poor love, that love that is given without any other interest or any, like, we don't request any feedback. We don't request anything back from our kids, but we are still able to really give up on anything for them. And again, this type of love can be done not only for your biological kid, it can be offered to anyone. So that means motherhood to me. And I think that's one of the most beautiful mission in life, when we have that chance to develop that inside us. And I'm grateful for being mom to have this chance to at least train a little bit of that feeling inside me. So hopefully in future life, I'm able to expand that and step by step being able to grow and being able to love everyone as I love myself, right? And I see also the big pressure that the society imposed to motherhood in general. We live in a society that wants like us to be perfect all the time, right? So we have criticism on all aspects, and the same happens with motherhood. We see many people around criticizing, oh, look at that mom, look at what she's doing, like it's easy to point, right? And we are the ones, as I said before, that really know and understand what our kids needs. And of course we are not perfect, so we make mistakes, but unfortunately, the society sometimes is too rigid and criticize a lot. And the same society that want you to be a perfect mother also want you to be a perfect professional or worker in whatever area you are. And it's the same society that wants you to be a perfect wife or partner and a perfect daughter as well. And so I see many moms, especially at the beginning of motherhood, uh, struggling a lot with all those type of pressures because they feel that they need to be perfect in everything. And again, that's not the goal at this moment. I tell them that just believe on what you are doing, believe that you are sowing the seeds of of love on that little one that you received, and the challenges will be there every day, in every moment. And you really need to trust on what you are doing, thinking that it's a process. And if you do with love and care and faith, you will succeed, the same as you do on your work and any other activities in your life. So uh, especially during this pandemic, that many people are struggling with mental health in many different aspects. All moms around, they are also struggling a lot, facing different challenges with their own kids. So it's also, I want to take this moment to think about them, and all of us that has a chance to listen to this, take a look around you and see if someone needs help. There are many moms around here, around us, that needs our support at this moment, because they are feeling this pressure, the pressure that sometimes even us impose to them, right? So, and it's not easy to raise a child. And this challenge is not only for moms, it's for the fathers too, like for parents, right? It's not easy to raise a child, and as spiritists, we know that that child come with a background, and it come to us for a reason. We don't have a kid by chance, that specific kid by chance. So all the challenges in behavior, in all aspects that that child carries, there's a reason that he or she came to us. So the spiritism is good to give us that consolation and understanding, and to help us to find the strength and the wisdom to help that child. So I tell all moms around here as well that believe on your feelings, on your instinct, in what is in your heart, because you're going to find a way to help that child, even the most challenging ones, knowing that our main goal is to love and care. We cannot control what our kid is going to turn. We cannot fully control their own decisions, because at some point they will not be kids anymore. They're going to be adults, and they're going to carry their lives. So we need to hope that the seeds that we are sowing will get good fruits at the end. And that's all we can do, right? So don't put that pressure on you as well, that you need to have the best result, because that is not totally on our control. It's not on our hands. I think our mission is to show the good principles, to provide that environment to that kid, teach about God, about all the teachings from Jesus, regardless which religion you follow, but teach about all the principles of love and caring and respect, and importance of forgiveness, and all those important and strong principles that we need to carry to become a better person. And that's all we can do. And their choices will be up unto them. And of course, as a spiritist, we know that each choice has a consequence, and they might have, and they will for sure have their own challenges. They will face painful moments, and all we can do is just to give them the support, right? So that's our mission as mom. And when we understand that, we can release a lot of pressure in our shoulder as well, since we are not responsible for their own choice, but we are responsible for what the example we provide to them. So that's what is more important. Another aspect of motherhood that I think, especially I want to just briefly touch here, that especially in spiritism, we see a lot. We see many moms that come to us the first time after they face one of the biggest challenges in my kid, no matter how old they are. But we used to say that, right? That a mom is not meant to lose a child. We always think in the other way, right? That always the mom is going to discarnate before their own kids. But sometimes we have the other way, right? And we see that in spiritism, we see many moms that comes to us the first time after they lost a child, and they are totally lost in support. They feel that their life is gone too, because that strong connection that I said initially, when they don't have the kid anymore with them, for them is like means that their life is gone too. So it's very important for us to be able to provide the support to that mom. And we see many examples through Chico Xavier of moms that came to him in hope to find some connection, some communication from their own kids, in hope to give them that consolation and that understanding that they are looking for. And it's great when you are able to receive that communication, but we need to understand that that is not happen to everyone, for many reasons. Sometimes the kid is not prepared to provide that communication. Sometimes the mom is not prepared to receive that communication. So it's a complex process, right? And what is important for us as spiritists to help all the moms around us that face this challenging life is to provide the understanding to them that although they might not receive any communication, that connection is always there. So they are always able to connect to their own kid through the prayer, through the thoughts, through meditation, to be able to feel the kid, and the kid is going to feel their own feelings, their mom's feelings as well. It's definitely a different connection that they had while they were in this physical world together, but it's the connection they are able at this moment. And it's hard to provide the support to those parents and to those moms during that moment, but sometimes all they need is just someone to stay beside them and hugging them and giving them that support, right? Sometimes you don't need to say anything. They don't want to hear that, oh, this is God's will, or don't, those things that we automatically say, because at that moment they are still facing a very conflictuous moment in their life to understand why this is happening to them. So they need that moment to process that. And later on, when they pass that acute phase, then maybe it's time for us to provide more teaching about all the spiritual life and about all the process that happened. But this is something that we also need to think about, how to console those moms. They come to us all the time, and we need to give them some time to process that, and then we can start to talk more about spiritism and the importance of resignation and understanding that they will be get together again. And I used to tell that for me, and I guess for all of us, the most beautiful example of motherhood that we can see is when we think about Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus. When we think about all the things he went through, and she about all the things she went through, and she faced this very challenge of losing her own child. I think that's the best example that we can have as an inspiration for all of us moms. Even when we struggle with simple things with our kids, we remember what Mary went through, and we'll see that her struggles were a lot bigger than ours, and how she was able to manage them and to overcome them. It's very inspirational, and it's all about faith, about what you believe, and about is inside your heart. Okay, of course Mary was a lot more evolved than all of us that are living at this moment in planet Earth, but she's still a huge inspiration for us. And she also taught us not only the importance of resignation and understanding, to be able to understand all the pain and suffering that your own kid is going through, but she also taught us that the principle that I mentioned here earlier, that motherhood goes a lot beyond than your own kid. So once she lost her own kid, once Jesus discarnated, what Mary did, she had the option to just be like feeling as a victim and feeling that God was unjust to her, and that pain that she was feeling was too much for her. But she had the other option to understand that and she was able to transform her pain in love. After she lost Jesus, she became mother of everyone. right? She started to help so many other people around her, not only the disciples, but she started a new mission because she realized that her mission as a mom was beyond just raising and caring and loving Jesus. Her mission as a real mom was to take care of the whole humanity, of the everybody there. And even after she discarnate as a spirit, Mary is extremely important to help all those spirits that discarnate in suffering and pain, especially those who commit suicide, that probably are the ones who suffered most uh, after discarnation. Uh, Mary, many spiritist book tells us the importance of Mary in many spiritual realm that receive those suffering spirits. Mary is the one who coordinates a lot of rescue work that is done to help those very suffering spirits, those spirits that are struggling most. Mary is the one who coordinates all the work that is done to help to rescue those spirits and bring them back to the pathway of evolution, right? Like to help them understand their process, to help them to recover their faith, to help them to have the resignation they need to continue to continue their journey, right? So and that's why I see her as the most beautiful example for all of us. So every moment I struggle as a mom, I close my eyes and I pray to Mary to help me, and I think on her as her example. This gives me lots of strength to continue and to understand that it's a process. I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. But the most important thing in my mission as a mom in this life is to love and care every day my kids, that I'm sure that I will receive the support I need in any circumstance. So I found her a beautiful example, and it's an inspiration for all of us. In the Spirit's book, the question 890, it asks, is maternal love an instinctive virtue or feeling shared by both humans and animals? And the Spirit's answer, it is both. Nature has endowed a mother with the love of her children to guarantee their survival. So this is the very simple way to see it, right? So if a mom did not have that very strong and pure love, probably the baby will not survive. And this it applies for human beings and for animals as well, right? That connection, that first connection is important to allow that little one to survive their first minutes of life. So, and then the spirits continue the answer as, in animals, maternal love is limited to providing the material needs of the mother's offspring. This affection ceases when this care is no longer needed, right? And this is exactly what we see in the animal world, right? The mom cares about their kids until, like, those, it depends on which species or which type of animal we are looking for, can last a few minutes, can last a few days or a few months, depends on which animal. We see that mom all around and protecting their babies until they have their own wings to fly, right? And then we don't, like in the animal world, we see that connection kind of ceases there. They don't have the same kind of protection and care forever. It's just to allow that little one to survive and continue their life. In the human, and then the spirits continue, in the human race, it lasts for a lifetime and assumes a character of selfless devotion, raising it to a virtue. It even survives death and follows the child in the afterlife. Therefore, there is more to this love in humans than that which exists in animals. And that's exactly what I mentioned initially, right? That the connection that is created once a mom start to generate another physical body that will be the home for any spirit, that connection is forever. It goes beyond this life. And that's exactly what the spirit tells us in this question. And also there is the other side in the question 891. Oh, actually not there yet, but I will explain exactly what I mean in a few minutes. In the question 891, it asks, since maternal love is natural, why mothers hate their children, and often from birth? So this is exactly the other side that mentioned about what happened. How can we understand those cases? And thankfully, they are the huge minority, but they happen. Those cases that the mom does not have that love and care for their child, or pathologically they hate their child, or they give up on their child. So that question was also asked, because it's strange and difficult for us to understand that too, right? How come a mom does not love her own kid? And the spirit answer, the absence of maternal love is sometimes a trial chosen by the spirit of the child, or a form of atonement if the child has been a bad father, mother, or child in a prior life. So again, as I mentioned earlier here, nothing that happened to us is by chance. God is always all just in love. So if we are facing challenge and struggle, probably that is a consequence of our own choices, either from this life or from previous experience that we don't remember. So a child that is abandoned by his or her own mother in life, probably there is a reason behind. And it's not up unto us to understand why. So that's the reason that I believe that we need to more often stop asking why this is happening to me, why, and try to understand that if it's happened, there is a reason. So I need actually to try to ask myself what God wants from me in this moment. If I'm facing this pain, if I'm facing this suffering, what He wants from me at this moment? What should I need to develop inside me? What mistake should I need to correct in my life in order to avoid this suffering in future, or in order to grow some feelings, some good thing inside of me, right? That's exactly what the spirit is answering here, that a kid that is abandoned or hated by his own mother can be either a trial that he chose, for some reason he chose to go, or it's a consequence from something wrong that he did previously. And then they continue. In any case, a bad mother can only embody in any case, a bad mother can only embody a bad spirit who tries to make the child fail in the chosen trial. So all that is kind of set for that child to fail. But the end, the final course will be a decision for that child, right? He can change completely his journey after that, and can transform that from a painful moment to a successful life experience. And then the spirits they conclude, this violation of natural law does not go unpunished, and the spirit of the child is rewarded for the obstacles it overcomes. So see how beautiful it is, and I find this such a strong consolation in those words, telling those child that face this painful moment on being abandoned, know that they were abandoned by their mother. They find on those words the understanding that if they have the resignation to overcome the situation and transform this moment in something positive to them, they will be definitely be rewarded. And of course, their mom that made this choice, she's going to face the consequence of that in future. There's no doubt, because everything we do comes with a consequence, right? But my bottom, my summary of all this question here is that what is important for a kid to understand is that he or she needs to honor their parents no matter what, no matter the mistakes they made, no matter the choices they made. As a child, your job, your mission is to honor your parents. And as, of course, as mom and dad, their mission is to raise their child with care and love. So if the parents fail their mission, that not necessarily means that the kid needs to fail as well. If you, as a child, do what you are meant to do, you're gonna succeed and you're gonna be rewarded. And of course, your parents, if they didn't do what they were supposed to do, they will face that consequence. I think once we understand this true meaning, we are able to face all the difficulties from having parents that you might not understand completely, that failed on you for many reasons. And we see many of us that have faced that challenging. They prefer to put themselves as a victim. They prefer to just see their lives as, oh, I have this miserable life because my mom was this and this, made this and these choices. No, you face this miserable life because you decided to. There's always an option that you can change. You can change your pathway. You can change this journey. You can change your choices. It's not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy, but there are many support around you, and the spiritual world is all your mentors and your guardian angels, and all your faith is there to give you that support. um, so this is important too, because I'm talking the beautiful side of motherhood here, but of course we are also talking about human beings, and that are not perfect, and we are in different levels of evolution. So there are lots of moms that make many mistakes, including abandoning or deciding for end of pregnancy, for abortion, or deciding to not care about their kids. So I not go into that too deep, because that's not the meaning of this lecture, but it's important for us to have understanding about that as well, and knowing that it's their own choice and they will face the consequence of that. And of course, as I said, as God is all love and just, the same way that he gives the opportunity to everyone, he will give that mom the opportunity to come again and correct her mistakes. In the Gospel, chapter 14, the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 14, it talks a lot about the importance of honor your father and your mother. So I think this also is very connected to motherhood, to the things that I'm discussing today. So I invite everyone to study that chapter. It gives you many insights, and it helps you also to understand any possible conflicts that you might have in your own family, to understand better your mom and your dad as well. I'm going to read just a brief passage from that chapter, but it's important that if you have a chance to read the chapter and understand a lot more, there's lots of content there that is important. Okay, so in the chapter 14 it says, the commandment, honor your father and your mother, is an inference from the general laws of charity and love towards one's fellow beings, seeing that those who do not love their mother and father cannot then love their fellow creatures. So it's always start in your first school, right? Which is your home, your family. By honor your father and mother, you start to love the first human beings beside you. And if you're not able to love them, it will be a lot harder for you to love everyone else. But with regards to parents, then the gospel continues. But with regards to parents, here the word honor contains an extra obligation, which is a filial devotion. God wishes to show us that respect, esteem, obedience, caring, submission, and deference should be joined to love. So when it comes to our father and our mother, uh, we need to expand the meaning of love to go around all that topics, right? But in my mind, it's still the same, because if you truly love and honor your parents, you're gonna respect them, you're gonna esteem, you're gonna have a good obedience towards them, you're gonna care, you're gonna respect them in all aspects, and that's what Jesus teaches. No matter which stage of life, if they are young or if they are elderly, it's our obligation as kids to honor them, to provide them with the support they need. This does not mean that you need to bring your parents or your mom to live with you in your house. And no, it means that you need to make sure she has all the support she needs. When the time comes when she is too old and she needs some support, you need to be able to care and make sure that she has all that she needs at that moment. I think that's what the gospel says here as well. It's our obligation as kids. It's a filial devotion, and that's part of our mission as kids. The same way that we see the parents providing everything to their kids, there will be time that we as kids will be the ones to provide everything to our parents. So it also says, the gospel, to honor your mother and father consists in not only showing respect, but also helping them in their needs, offering them rest in their old age, and surrounding them with care, just as they themselves did for us during our infancy. Above all, it is necessary to demonstrate true filial devotion to our parents. So basically, that's the summary of everything, right? And the gospel is very clear on that. Like I'm almost want to kind of finalize my lecture today about again going back to that topic of moms that lose their child. In the book Heaven and Hell, the part 2, chapter 5, it tells an example of a mom that lost her son. And that passage is important to show us how it is important for a mom to have the understanding about life, about us as a spirit, about eternal life, and about this eternal connection. This will help a lot any mom to face the situation of having their losing their own kid. Once we truly understand that we are eternal beings, that this connection will never end, will be just temporarily physically distant, but the love and care we share will keep us together always. This helps a lot anyone to at least understand a little bit why they lost their own kid, right? So in this passage in in the book Heaven and Hell, it shows an example of a mom that unfortunately was not able to cope with the loss of her own child. So she lost her child, and her child was chronically ill. So when he passed away, she lost her mind and she decided to commit suicide, thinking that on that way she would be with her son again. So she had that misconception that if she killed herself, she would be with her kid. Since her kid discarnate, she decided to kill herself as well to be with her kid. And as spiritists, we know that unfortunately instead of making her closer to her own kid, that choice of killing herself put her totally apart and actually make uh, her opportunity to be together with her kid again, make that a lot more difficult and challenging, because now she will need to face all the process that happens with any suicidal spirit, right? So I'm just going to read a little bit here of that passage. It says, in March 1865, the son of Miss C, um, in business in a little town near Paris, had come home to his parents dangerously ill. This young man, in his 21st year, feeling that his last moment had come, called his mother to him and found the strength to kiss her once more. The mother, bathed in tears, replied to his kiss by saying, "Go before me, my son. I shall not be long in following you." As she said this, she rushed out of the room, her face hidden in her hands. So she was desperate, right? She realized that her son was passing away. Those who witnessed this painful scene supposed that the mother's exclamation to have been only the outburst of a grief that would be softened by time and reason. That's what we all think, right? No, with time she'll get better. And the young man, having expired immediately afterwards, they tried to find her, to inform her of the event. She was then found dead in the garage, where she had hanged herself and killed herself after her son died. So the funeral of both took place at the same time. So the family had a funeral for both. So then after that, uh, in a spiritist meeting between mediums, they started to pray for those two souls, for those two spirits, and the son communicated to the mediums. They say, the son said, "Pray, oh, pray for her. And you, mothers, who are touched by the sad recital of her death, take care not to imitate her fault. Do not imagine that her love for the son, who was her joy and her pride, was greater than that of other mothers. No, it was not that she loved more than others, but she lacked courage and resignation. Mothers who hear me, when you behold the eyes of your children closed in death, remember that, like Christ, they have climbed to the top of the Calvary, from which they will rise into the glory of their higher life." And this is Benjamin C. is the name of that spirit. So see, he was able, once he discarnated, to realize the big mistakes that his mama made, and he came with this communication in hope to help all the other moms that might face similar situation and might think that the best choice would be what his mom did, right? Because in the eyes of many of us, it sounds like, oh, she loved so much her son that she killed herself for him. But we have a better understanding, especially about life and about the afterlife, that tells us that actually she lacked, exactly as her son said, she lacked courage and resignation at this moment. It's not an easy moment, not at all, not even for us as a spiritist. I cannot even imagine how painful this could be, and I cannot imagine how I would deal with this. But definitely there is a huge support around us, and that support can come even from our discarnated spirit to help us go through that moment, to help us understanding that the process behind that, and help us understanding that the suicide is never the the best option. It's actually the biggest mistake that we can make. So it's a very touching passage from Heaven and Hell. And in Heaven and Hell, you can find many examples about similar histories about that. But the bottom line that I want to bring to you guys is that the motherhood can be misunderstanding about that unconditional love in that perspective, that you're even able to kill yourself for your kids, but that's not the purpose of it, right? It's exactly the opposite. You need to be able to love and care about your kid, but understanding that there is a spirit that there has their own journey in this life, and we as mom are just the chosen guide for that spirit. And we need to pray and ask for the help from the heaven, from God and all our mentors, to help us through this beautiful mission, helping us to really be the best guide for those kids. Mother Teresa de Calcutta, she has a beautiful passage that I want to finalize my lecture. I will finalize now with her message, as well as with a poem from Spirit of May May. So first, let me tell about what Mother Teresa answered about, talk about motherhood. And Mother Teresa de Calcutta, by the way, for me, it's a beautiful example about a mom as well. She was a nun, so she didn't have biological kids, but she was such a beautiful mother for many spirits that crossed through her life. She helped so many needs, not only kids but also adults. That for me, she's a beautiful example of a mother as well. She said, "You will teach." She was talking about kids and about moms. "You will teach them to fly, but they will not fly your flight. You will teach them to dream, but they will not dream your dream. You will teach them to live, but they will not live your life. Nevertheless, in every flight, in every life, in every dream, the print of the way you taught them will remain." So for me, this is such a beautiful message, that just remember, all moms around here, that what matters is the print that you imprinted on your own kids, the example that you are able to provide to them, even though they might not become what you wish, because that's not the purpose. They are not just a toy that you mold and make them exactly how you want. And also because you are not the one who really knows uh, like what they need to face in this life. God knows that. So our mission as mom is to make sure we provide the best example and we give them the best opportunity. How they're going to fly and how they're going to grow is going to be their own choice. And this poem of the Spirit May May, that was brought to us by Chico Xavier, and it's in the book Our Father. This is a free translation because I think it's the book Pai Nosso. I don't think it's translated to English. So I freely translated this poem to English for you guys. It's not the perfect translation for sure, but at least I think you can have a good understanding. It's a beautiful poem. So when Heavenly Father needed to place the first little children on earth, he came to the conclusion that he should call someone who knew how to forgive infinitely, someone who didn't see evil, someone who wanted to help without demanding payment, someone who would be willing to keep the children with patience and tenderness close to her heart, someone who would have enough serenity to incessantly repeat the little lessons day by day, someone who could watch night and night without complaint, someone who could hum in soft lullabies for those who cannot talk or sleep, someone who could stay at home with loving and supporting their children that cannot go outside yet, someone who can tell many stories about life and the world, someone who could hug and kiss a sick children, someone who could teach them how to take their first steps, in the same way ensure that they are safe for that, someone who take them to school for them to learn how to read and how to yeah to sorry someone who could take them to the school for them to learn how to read. So they say that our Father in heaven stayed a long time examining, and then he called the woman, gave her the title of mother, and entrusted her with the children. For this reason, our little mother is the representative of divine love in the world, teaching us the science of forgiveness and affection in every moment of our journey on earth. If we can imitate her in the examples of kindness and sacrifice that she constantly offers us, we will certainly be God's precious helpers in life. So, with this beautiful message, I want to finish and also want to wish for everybody a very happy Mother's Day. And I think all of us, moms, those who are not moms, men, women here, can be a mom in this world, which means that we can offer poor love and care for people around us, and the opportunities are there for all of us to express this love and caring. Thank you very much. And so it's a moment if someone has any comment or if there is any questions. Thank you, Rafael.
Thank you, Joyce, for this lecture. There's a lot to think about. I think our time is up. I had a lot of comments, but I'll keep that for another moment. Yeah, so I guess if you want, you can finish with a final prayer.
Awesome. Thank you everyone that joined us, and keep in touch with us because hopefully we'll be able to go back physically soon at Toronto Spirit Society. So we are planning for that. Thank you very much. So now it's a time for us to finalize our day, our moment here together. And today is such a special day about moms, about mothers. Let's be thankful. Let's take this moment to be truly thankful for our moms, for those who allowed us to be here. Let's be thankful for our Mother Mary, that is our inspiration, that certainly helped our moms to raise us and also help us every day in our journey. And also let us kindly ask God to protect and inspire all moms around this world, giving them the wisdom to help their own kids and help all the kids that cross their pathway. Let us think about the example of Mother Mary and let us get inspired about that, helping us also to share these loving and caring feelings to everyone, in hope that we can make a better environment to our kids, a better place to everyone, changing the energy that is surrounding our world at this moment with so many conflicts and wars and prejudice and evil feelings. Maybe we all help to change this through love, through care, through forgiveness, through understanding. And maybe us can be instruments of love anywhere we go. Thank you very much for all you are here today and join us. God bless our week, and we hope to see everyone here next time. Thank you. So be it.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you, everyone.
Have a blessed week, everybody. Bye-bye.